Hey, the PMP exam is one of the most difficult tests for professionals, and we've heard this from everyone. But not to worry, you have a coach who eats the PMBOK for lunch. Here he is to set the record straight for you, your friend Phil.
Thank you, and welcome to our PMP exam brunch time for today. Our purpose today is to take a look at the PMI stats that came out for September 2018. Every month I get these stats and I like sharing them with you so that you can keep track of how many people are certified across the various PMI certifications. I hope you're having a great day, and I hope your PMP exam prep or whatever prep you're working on is coming along good. So why don't we take a look at some of these stats from PMI's latest message to me. And I title this PMI Membership and Certificate Holder Stats. These stats are shared monthly. I get these monthly, and I thought I should share them with you so that you know you're on the right track as far as your certifications are concerned. So, this is the number. So first of all, you can see that PMI membership is 545,051. That's over 500,000 members of the PMI. We're not talking about certification holders. We're talking about people who are members of the PMI. And that's quite remarkable. These are people shelling out $139 yearly to become members of the PMI. Next on the list here, you can see we've got total project management professional certification holders. There are currently 877,000 PMPs in the world. That is quite a huge number. 877,291. That's pushing on 1 million. In a little bit, we should be getting to 1 million. That is a massive number. Do you know any other certification in the world that has that many people? This is huge. Next on the list, you can see we have the number of CAPMs in the world. Obviously not as much, even less than 1/20th. So we've got 36,166 CAPMs in the world as at the end of August 2018. So by the end of September, this number could have changed, and it usually does change a little bit more at the end of each month. But at the starting of September, this is what we had. Looking at the number of PGMPs in the world, 2,462. This certification has been kind of at this number for many years. Hasn't gone up considerably and hasn't gone down considerably. Next, we've got the PMI SP. There are 1,885 PMI SP holders in the world. Again, not one of the favorites for many people. It is rather rigorous. It could be quite abstract, just going through the content for people who are not quite given to scheduling. Again, it's for people who are focused on that. The PMI-RMP is the next one. There are 4,898 credential holders in the world. So this is obviously more than both of the previous two put together at 4,898 or thereabouts. And that number is obviously reflected by the fact that managing uncertainty pans across various industries. Managing risk pans into the financial sector, the health sector, engineering sector, anything you can imagine, project management. So obviously there are more people interested in the risk management professional certification. For those interested in that, we have a new curriculum. It's at risktutors.com. So if you go to risktutors.com, you can see the Risk Doctor and I, Dr. David Hilson and I, we've partnered up to deliver some training for the PMI-RMP, so you can check that out. The next one here has grown like a firestorm over the past few years, and it's the PMI-ACP, the PMI Agile Certified Practitioner. Now, compared to the other certifications we've looked at, this is quite a lot. I mean, this is big. And it's grown. It's just doubled and tripled, and you can see it's outdone the PGMP, the SP, and the RMP in terms of the interest. Lots of interest about Agile. And it's a no-brainer why. I mean, the world is going very, very much into Agile in not just project management, but in mindset and in organizational abilities to adapt. So it's huge. So the PMI-ACP, 23,061 credential holders. Next, we have the Portfolio Management Professional, which is relatively new. It's right there at the bottom of the stack. It's one that I've looked into doing. 590 certificate holders compared to measure that up against the PGMP. I mean, it's, but it's still growing. It could be very valuable, though, for those folks who are responsible for selecting the right projects. A lot of times you have people selecting projects that may not have been for any training or are not fully aware of the syllabus for this. So that would be a good one. If you're in a company, you're in charge of selecting projects, doing the right work, that would be a good one for you for sure. Last one here is the PMI-PBA. Compared to a lot of the other ones, scale visually, you don't even see some of them blink on the radar. CAPM, a little bit on the radar, followed by the PMI-ACP. Everything else is seriously leveled, Then you see the RMP. But all of this just goes to show you, folks, that being PMP certified, it's huge. So why wouldn't you get certified? Why wouldn't you go the extra mile to just finish this thing off once and for all? So your PMP exam, this only underscores the more why you should go for it. Go for the PMP exam. Do it. Get it over and done with. You're sharp, you're smart, you're able to study and read. You're in a great PM position right now, or maybe you're looking for work. The more reason why you should do it. When I took the exam, I really wanted my resume over, and I had a master's degree at the time, but I still wouldn't be called back. And when I was called back once to a well-known shipping company in Scottsdale, I blew the interview. I messed the interview up. I was answering questions in a way that I shouldn't have because I didn't know about the mothership, the PMBOK guide. I didn't know about the book. I was not able to make sense out of what they were asking. So I was trying to tackle project management questions with the SDLC. Of course I couldn't. Miserable interview. And after that interview, I knew I needed to know more. And it wasn't until I met Mary Hirschner, my mentor, in a company here in Arizona, where she said, Phil, I think you would be a good candidate for the PMP exam. You might want to think about it. I asked my boss. He wasn't impressed. Don't take the exam. You can't replace years of my experience with a piece of paper. And that is what a lot of people still say. Oh, the PMP exam is stupid. It's ridiculous. It's a piece of paper. I know a lot of PMPs. They're hopeless. They're useless. They're no good. Yeah, you can say all you like. PMPs are hopeless. PMPs are no good. PMPs bosses and dons through their PMPs. And I'll be the first one to raise my hand to say, yes, the PMP exam to some people might be a piece of paper, but to me, it was a life-changing experience. First of all, the exam alone was one of the most difficult exams I had ever taken, if not the most difficult. And I'm talking about even at the master's level. And I've trained people who are PhDs and lawyers, and they say the same thing. They tell me, Phil, my field is different. This is a different animal. So the PMP exam is not a cakewalk. It's a great experience. But beyond that, I haven't had any other certification propel me, salary-wise, 300%. If I ever saw such a cert, I would want to take another cert. And I've got, trust me, a lot of certifications. I've got going on 7 or 8 of those things. From the PMI alone, I have about 5 or 6. I lose count sometimes. One of the ones I have is not in this count, the OPM3, so that's not there. But I've got a boatload of certifications. Not because I want to be a cert junkie or cert collector, but I am. But it's not because of that. The reason why I seek to get certified is so that I can get more and more certificates to demonstrate that I have knowledge in these areas that will give me inroads to help people. And when I get those inroads to help people in firms, I can bring the knowledge I've got to the table to help them. Like now, I can give hours and hours of lectures without opening this thing. Not because I read it ad nauseum, but because I've actually lived it. This stuff works. I get some people trolling earn value on social media saying earn value is stupid, it's useless, it doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. I feel sorry for those people. Bashing the PMBOK guide, bashing earn value. What are you going to bash next? Agile? Oh, they're already doing it. They're already bashing Scrum as well. So, you can bash things all you want, but the PMP exam, it has its proven track record. Take a look at the stats again, okay? This thing is here to stay. Whether you like it or not, it ain't going nowhere. It's going to be here for a long time to come. Now, in the grand scheme of things, some other certifications or some other needs professionally may begin to overtake the PMP exam, and that's okay. That's all right. But that does not negate it. Looking at ITIL, does that negate ITIL? ITIL has been extremely valuable and useful to many people. And it's been around for a long time. So even though no one's screaming ITIL at the top of their lungs, it's still there helping people. Help people like me. What about the CIW? Some of you haven't even heard of that. The Certified Internet Webmaster Certification. There was a potpourri of different things, web and some software and some basic hardware understanding. And it's not really been talked about much, but that does not negate the value that it brought to people who took the cert. Like me, I took 3 of those rounds of the CIW thing to become a certified internet webmaster. So no knowledge is wasted, okay? Get the knowledge, keep it in your treasure banks, and when the opportunity comes to use it, you will know that it's time to use it. I remember going for a job in IT effectiveness, and the hiring manager said, "What have you done in IT?" Well, my CIW definitely came in handy, and that was the tiebreaker. It was a deal maker for me. Okay, so instead of looking down at what the PMI is trying to do, and many of these organizations, just understand that no organization is right, no organization is wrong. I interviewed David a few weeks ago, and you probably saw a video of him yesterday as well. And he's worked across all types of companies, but he's an SPHR in human resource management, similar to the world of the PMP, but in the world of HR. He's a Lean Six Sigma black belt or Six Sigma black belt. He's got his PMP and other certifications. So it's not going to be a waste, okay? Those of you who are on the sidelines wondering, should I do it? Should I not? I want to encourage you, do it. Go to Praizion.com, sign up for our training, and it'll help you get to your goal. Those of you who are like, Phil, my exam's coming up in a week or 2 or 3. You know what you should do? Right there. That boot camp. You want to sign up for our 6-hour boot camp on Saturday. They don't happen very often because it takes a lot of energy and time to prepare. But when we have them, amazing things happen. I had 4 students, all from one class, all attend the boot camp, and that gave them what they needed. It propelled them to take the PMP exam, and I'm talking about get great grades, like 5 above targets, 4 above targets, 3 above targets. I'm talking about stellar performance. Okay, so I encourage you, show up. Those of you who are taking our course online, I'm going to make this deal to you. Those of you who are currently taking the online version of the course, if you come aboard this program for Saturday, you'll get an extra month free, but I'm hoping you won't need it, okay? So if you are on our online program, you sign up for this training on Saturday, you will get 1 month free. Some of you said, Phil, I've already paid for a month. Pay the difference and you'll be able to join on Saturday. But you have to see this before Saturday, which means you should have subscribed to the channel and been listening to your buddy Phil. If this is after the fact, there's nothing I can do because we don't have these 6-hour boot camps every week. All right, so if you're on our online system, if you sign up for this program for $199, you're going to get the $100 extra month for free. What are you waiting for? I challenge you. Hit that link, go to pmsucceed.com, sign up. And in addition to that, those who come for the program are going to get some perks. You don't want to miss that. All right? So anyway, let's go back to our discussion about this world of the PMP, which many of you are on. I'm going to talk about 2 quick points of PMP exam controversy here. How many times is a WBS created? Is it once? Is it more than once? Is it twice to be precise? Or is it 3 times? What do you think? How many times is a work breakdown structure created? I'm hoping you know the answer to this. If you don't, it means you need to go look at the PMBOK guide one more time. So is anyone going to chat in the answer to me? Do we even have anyone at this present time in the chat? Or do we have any participants? Do we or do we not? It seems like we don't have many participants. Okay, well, the answer to this question is more than once. And where did I get that from? Of course, it's from the mothership. So let's open up the PMBOK guide to create WBS. I want to show you this really quick. It says, create WBS is the process of subdividing project deliverables and project work into smaller, more manageable pieces. It says, or smaller, more manageable components. The key benefit of this process is that it provides a framework of what has to be delivered. The process is performed once or at predefined points in the project. It could be performed once, or it could be performed at the end of various stages, or at the beginning of various stages. It really depends. That's a little bit of a trick question. If you read once, you're gonna say, oh, it's once, but you have to read the rest of the story. Okay. Let's take a look at our last fact for the day. The following factors affect a process. Which process is it? So, the factors are the law of diminishing returns, the number of resources, advances in technology, and staff motivation. Can you guess what the answer is? Any takers? Anyone know the answer to that one? No takers. Okay. So the answer to this question can be found in resource management. And schedule management. Am I just playing tricks on you? Let's find out. Let me give you the precise page. The page is 197, and it's kind of like a two-headed beast because resources affect duration. So the process in question is really estimate activity duration. All right. Let me read it to you. It says, Other factors for consideration when estimating duration include law of diminishing returns, when one factor, for example, resources, let me get out of your way because I'm blocking your view on the screen. And I'm sorry about that. Let's get him out of the way. All right. So it says, other factors for consideration when estimating duration include law of diminishing returns, when one factor, for example, resource, used to determine the effort required to produce a unit of work is increased, while other factors remain fixed, a point will eventually be reached at which additions of that one factor start to yield progressively smaller or diminishing increases in output. You know what that means. So adding more and more people isn't always going to big up the output. Then the next one is number of resources. So increasing the number of resources to twice the original number of the resources does not always reduce the time by half, as it may increase extra duration due to risk. And at some point, adding too many resources to the activity may increase duration due to knowledge transfer, learning curve, additional coordination, and other factors involved. So you get that one. And then advances in technology. This may also play an important role in determining duration estimates. For example, an increase in the output of a manufacturing plant may be achieved by procuring the latest advances in technology. So 3D printing could actually affect the time frame in which you deliver that final product, service, or result. And lastly, motivation of staff. You see, this is where I have a problem with management in many companies. I'm not talking about your company. No, your company is doing just great in this area. I'm talking about other companies. It says the project manager also needs to be aware of student syndrome or procrastination, when people start to apply themselves only at the last possible moment before the deadline. You know what that is. The student syndrome, I'm sure you've seen it around you. And Parkinson's law, where work expands to fill the time available for its completion. You give people a month, they'll take a month. You give them a day, they'll take a day. And it says all data and assumptions that support duration estimating are documented for each activity duration estimate. So whatever you estimated based on these things, these 4 things, law of diminishing returns, number of resources, advances in technology, motivation of staff, needs to be documented. All right. My goodness, my book is falling apart. PMBOK Guide has suffered a beating. This book has been to, so far, 2 continents. Will probably make its trip to a 3rd continent very soon. But folks, that is it for our PMP exam brunch time for today. You know, when I come on these calls, I am coming on these calls not with a purpose to show you a bunch of PowerPoint slides, but I'm really coming on here to answer questions. So if you have questions about anything PMBOK related, let me know. I have certain videos that I will be working on for one of our friends who was on the live catch-up a few days ago. So, you know, questions about ROI and IRR and BCR, that stuff. I'm going to answer those. There are a few questions about risk, so I'll answer those as well. If you would like your questions answered on this forum, this platform, whether it is project management questions, PMP exam questions, whatever it is, all right? Shoot a message. Actually, down below, you can just type in a comment and we'll pick the comment up and we'll put it into the pipeline for our next episode. Okay, so I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Don't be a stranger. Don't, suffer alone. Too many people saying, oh, I don't want to ask questions because I think they're dumb. Don't do that. Okay, ask questions and I will always be happy to answer your questions for you. All right, so right now, right this moment, before I hop off the call, do you or do you not have questions for your friend Phil? Questions, comments, concerns? Okay, Well, it seems like a few of the frames have dropped. So I do apologize for the very poor delivery of streaming quality. I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but I'm getting a message that I have some dropped frames that were not delivered. Well, I hope you can fill in the blanks and make sense out of what I was trying to say. I do apologize for that. But anyway, thank you all very much for joining today, and I look forward to seeing you again in another episode. I try to do these as often as I can, so if you don't see me on a particular day, it just means I was wrapped up or was on the road or I'm in class training, okay? Thank you very much for joining, and bye for now. I just got a question in. This happens quite a lot because of the lag. Our friend Fabian, who is getting ready to kill the exam, right, Fabian? Right? You're getting ready to kill the exam. Fabian is on our system. So Fabian, if you wanted to join the course this weekend, it wouldn't be the $199 because you're already on the system. You know, we would give you the additional month for free. So, I mean, if your LMS is about to run out, why not just join the boot camp, and then you're going to get a month free whenever you're whenever you're 2 months. I think you sign up for 2 months or more. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's even 6. I don't know. But you know. But we'll give you an extra month, whatever the case. Okay. So, Fabian, my recommendation would be, if you have found yourself, and yeah, you have been in a previous boot camp, Fabian. So my suggestion is, if you're coming for this boot camp, you need to get ready for the next 30 days to put that full pressure onto the exam content and just do it. Make up your mind that this is going to be my final run-up, because 6 hours of intense hard hitting is big. I think when you came for the first boot camp, I don't think you were as prepared as you are now. Now you seem closer to getting to finality, right? So since you're closer to getting to finality, now is the time. Because once Thanksgiving comes and Christmas comes, a lot of people just cannot keep up. I've had a lot of people fall off the wagon November and December, and it's very, very hard getting back on. You know, last year, one of my students had Thanksgiving, Christmas, and the birth of a child. And the poor guy, James decided that's it. You know, James, he's from SHIP, one of the companies I work with. And little did I know James had decided that's it. I have to get it done now or never. Long story short, he ended up getting 5 ATs, 5 above targets. So you need to decide, now's the time. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to finish this thing off and just go full steam ahead. And before you know it, you're going to be done, you know? So do it, Fabian. Fabian, chat into me and let me know, how many of the chapters have you sufficiently covered? Have you covered all 13, like on a first round? Because I know you've been on this LMS for at least a month or 2, maybe even more. You know more than I do. But let me know the chapters you've covered. Because if you've covered all the chapters at least once, my question would be, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for, you know? Sign up, get a month free, and just decide when that month ends, that's it. Ready or not, that's what I did to myself. You know, I told myself, ready or not, Phil, I'm dragging you all the way to the exam. Kick, scream, I don't care. You are going to take this exam on the 25th of June. And that's what I did, because I know myself. Many of you are like me. We procrastinate. Oh, I cannot do it because... So I would make excuses until I got fed up of making excuses. And I said, Phil, you are going into the exam and I don't care what you have to say. And I stuck to my guns and I shoved myself into the library every weekend for a number of weeks. You know, actually, I had been doing this for a while. So I should have been ready, but I kept telling myself, you're not ready. You're not. You need to study a little bit more. Just open up one more chapter, one more little peek. Do you do that? You know, like I get to the exam. I've done this quite a few times, but I've grown out of it now. But I would get to the Prometric test center, and remember, I've done this about 6 times. I would get to Prometric, and I would take a look one more time. I don't do it anymore. It's a funny habit. You think the last 2 minutes is really going to make any difference. Seriously? I got tired of doing that. And, since I've been taking these exams, I've never really felt I knew everything, but I got to the point where I was like, I'm tired. Enough is enough. Go do what you can, get the above targets or the targets you can, and call it a day. And it's worked. And I've never gotten one below target on any PMI exam. No below target, no, it's always been above target and target, but I've never gotten anything below since I've been taking the exams. It just goes to show you a lot of times what you think you don't know, like, oh, I'm not good with this area. It has no bearing at the end of the day. I'm not saying don't do your due diligence, but after a while it becomes ridiculous just telling yourself you need to study more. Hey, you've read network diagrams 50 times. You've read earned value 100 times. You know the formulas. What else are you studying? For such people, I tell them, perhaps you need to sign up for coaching. Go to the Praizion.com site and look under the training or the learning menu and look for the coaching option and come on board coaching instead to convince you that, hey, you're ready, or to help you find out if you truly are ready. I had various students last year in the run up to the change, and some of them opted for coaching. It works. Instead of you being on the treadmill, never ending treadmill of PMP prep. All right, so Fabian said, okay, I see. Hi, Jen. I saw your chat just now, and thank you for joining in. Fabian, you need to do it. You need to pull the trigger, jump on the bandwagon, do this thing. Seriously. Just give yourself a timetable, a menu. Just say, this is what I'm going for. I'm going to spend 2 weeks after this boot camp studying for 3 hours a day. Commit to it. Block off your lunch times. Lots of you still go for lunch and you're not studying. Like I'm having the PMBOK for lunch right now. That's what I'm doing. And you should be having the PMBOK guide for lunch. Literally speaking, you should be sitting down in a quiet place in your office, a conference room, somewhere in the cafeteria where your buddies aren't going to come pounce on you and fling the PMBOK guide out. You should be sitting down there going over a knowledge area, going over some processes. The key is intentionality. A lot of people are not intentional. If you are intentional, you block it off on your calendar and you say, I am going to do this for the next 2 weeks, 3 days, 4 days, whatever it is. I tell people that you can do it. If Parmeet Singh, one of my students out of Canada, could say, I am signing up for Phil's LMS on Thursday. I am taking the PMP exam on Monday. Did you catch that? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. 5 days is all that guy gave himself. He said, I've never been for PMP training, but I know I can do this. I did project management in my master's degree, doing my MBA for some of the modules. I think I can handle this. Now, I'm not saying you should try this at home, but I'm trying to give you hope that if someone like Parmeet could come on our learning management system and very doggedly and ruggedly cover all the content, all the modules, all the quizzes, and jump into the PMP exam on a Monday and clean it up real good, you can, with your already existing training, plus additional training. That's why I tell people, come on a system that gives you order and process, and bring your doggedness, add it to the mix, you'll do it. You see, Fabian, you got me started. I went on for another 20 minutes. Fabian said, Fabian, tell me, why is it challenging studying for lunch? Before or after work is better. Tell me why it's challenging studying for lunch. I want to know why, so I can give you some ideas to help you. The question is this: are you allowed a lunch break, yes or no? The answer is yes. You can study. Now, maybe you won't study for the full 1 hour, but if you've got your lunch, you can study along with your lunch. That's how I did it. I don't know, some people say I multitask a lot. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But I know it's possible to listen to stuff in the background, and it's possible to flip open one of these pages, those pages that have the ITTOs, and just keep going through them and asking, what do I know? What don't I know? What do I know? What don't I know? There's nothing to be sorry about, Fabian. I'm not complaining. I actually come here to spend a full hour. He said, you're sorry. You're making me laugh. I enjoy speaking to folks who have questions about the exam, so I ain't running nowhere, I'm actually on a diet, a PMBOK diet, so that's all right. I'm not running off to go eat anything else. But it's always a pleasure to speak to people that have questions, okay? So my opinion, Fabian, is you got to put it on your calendar, you got to schedule it, and you got to use the S word, selfish. For the duration of your prep, you have to be selfish with your time. You have to look at trade-offs. I could be studying for an hour versus chatting for an hour. I could be studying for an hour versus doing work that's going to be there tomorrow anyway. A lot of us PMs, we try to do everything today that could be done partially tomorrow. Some people kill themselves in the office trying to do the last grain. It's not going to break the bank. And as you study for the exam, you got to adopt that approach. It's not going to break the bank. If I left one tiny little piece of whatever it is on my desk till tomorrow, it's not going to break the bank. Now there are some things that are very important and they bring a huge return. Of course, you want to do those things. But some people will kill themselves to check that last email. Hey, what are you doing? Go for lunch, study, okay? In some cases, it's not possible, but I want to guarantee you, if you put it on your calendar and if you block off that time and mentally tell yourself, I have a date with the PMBOK guide, it will happen more often than not, So that's my 2 cents, okay? So thank you very much, Fabian, for your question. I hope that helped someone and convinced someone that, hey, you can study during lunchtime and you can get stuff done. And you should join us for that 6-hour boot camp on Saturday, okay? I look forward to seeing you guys, and I wish you all the very best in your prep. You can absolutely do it. I'll speak to you later. Bye for now.